Welcome back to our deep dive. Last time, remember, we talked about spaceships in the Bible.
Did. 5 Hebrew words: Kavod, Ruach, cherubim, Milah, and Merkabah.
And when you read those literally, they really challenge how we see those ancient texts.
Totally. And we started talking about how important the ancient Near Eastern worldview is to understanding all of this.
Yeah, it's crucial. Like, imagine trying to put together a puzzle, but you're missing half the pieces.
Exactly. So can we go back to that, the worldview? What did the universe actually look like to these people?
Okay, so imagine a flat Earth, a disk, basically, floating on this giant ocean.
Giant ocean, okay.
And this disk, this Earth, it's enclosed by a solid dome, the firmament.
Right. The firmament.
And above that dome, another ocean. The waters above.
Hold on, there was water above the sky, like an ocean over our heads.
Yep. And they believed that those waters above, they were the source of rain.
So like rain coming through holes in the dome.
Exactly. And then below the Earth, there was this other ocean, the great deep, or the abyss.
So like 3 layers:
Yeah.
heavens, earth, underworld.
Right, a 3-tiered universe. And this wasn't just some abstract idea. It was like baked into their culture. It affected how they saw everything,
Yeah.
especially their beliefs.
So where did the gods fit in all this? Were they part of this physical cosmos?
Oh, totally. For them, the gods are part of the fabric of the universe.
Okay.
Like in a lot of cultures back then, the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth itself, those were all gods, or they were connected to specific gods.
So they weren't just watching over the universe. They were
Yeah.
the universe.
In a way, yes. They believed these gods, they controlled nature, storms, floods, you name it, and they directly influenced people's lives.
Okay, that makes sense. So when we read about the Kavod coming down from the sky, or the Ruach hovering over the water, we're not just reading about like abstract spiritual idea.
Right.
We're seeing how they explained like the natural world, the actions of the gods, and those things were all like mixed together.
Exactly. It wasn't science versus religion for them. It was all one big interconnected thing.
And this makes me think about the cherubim guarding the Garden of Eden. If we picture them not as cute angels, but as, I don't know, powerful beings with some kind of tech,
Yeah.
it suddenly makes more sense why they were guarding that place.
Right. It wasn't just about being strong or scary. It was about operating some complex system.
Right. And they were connected to spinning blades, right?
Yeah.
And transporting the Elohim.
Yeah, exactly. What if the cherubim were like pilots or operators
Yeah.
of some kind of, I don't know, celestial vehicle,
Sure.
guarding this sacred place with technology we can't even imagine?
This is blowing my mind. I always thought of these stories as, symbolic, metaphorical.
It's easy to do that. We read them through our modern lens.
So what about the Milah, that flying scroll?
Right. Remember, Zechariah gave the exact dimensions. In their worldview, it's not so crazy to think of it as like some kind of flying message board.
A message from the Elohim.
Exactly. Or maybe some kind of communication device. We can't know for sure.
This ancient worldview really changes how you read the Bible, huh? It's a world away from our modern universe with galaxies and,
And they all...
all that stuff.
It is, isn't it? It's like trying to understand, I don't know, a smartphone through the eyes of someone who's never even seen electricity.
But that was their reality, right? They saw what they saw. Solid sky, flat earth.
Yeah, and those descriptions of spaceships, they make a lot more sense when you see them through that lens. It's less about literal flying machines and more about how they understood these powerful forces, the mystery of the universe.
So are we saying the Bible's a science fiction book?
Yeah.
Masquerading as religious text?
Not exactly. It's about understanding the context, the history. The Bible's a complex book, lots of layers. You can interpret it in many different ways. What we're doing is just exploring one interpretation.
An interpretation that challenges us to think differently.
Exactly. It reminds us that there's always more to learn, more to uncover.
Right. Okay, so we've got the 5 terms. The ancient worldview and how they all fit together. But there's one thing we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
Evidence. We've talked about how ancient people interpreted things, but is there any actual evidence that these encounters with the divine were they encounters with aliens?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's where we're headed next. We need to look at the evidence, the archaeology, the history, even the science.
Okay, so here we are, the final part of our deep dive. Spaceships in the Bible. We've looked at the Hebrew words, the ancient way of seeing the world, and now.
Now, the big question, is there actual evidence to back all this up?
Right. Because, It's easy to get carried away, speculation and all that. But we need to be critical. Look at the evidence.
Exactly. Got to be grounded. So where do we even start looking for proof of ancient aliens? What would convince a skeptic?
Right. What kind of evidence are we even talking about?
Well, one place is archaeology, ancient art, artifacts. They can give us some clues. Lots of cultures have stuff that seems way too advanced for their time.
Oh, yeah, like those Nazca lines in Peru,
Hmm.
those giant pictures in the desert. How do they make those without being able to fly?
Right. And you have similar things in Egypt, Mesopotamia, even those old cave paintings.
Yeah.
Some people think maybe they saw stuff in the sky, and they interpreted it through their own worldview. So advanced technology becomes gods, or celestial chariots.
That's fascinating. But art's not enough, right? Someone can just say, oh, they were just being creative.
Exactly. We need more. So how about historical accounts? Written records?
Okay, yeah. Like written descriptions of
Yeah.
aliens.
Not in those words, of course. But a lot of ancient cultures have stories about sky gods, beings coming down from the heavens.
Right, and we talked about Ezekiel's vision,
Yeah.
which sounds a lot like a spaceship.
Right. And there are similar things in other texts. The Indian Vedas, the Mayan Popol Vuh, flying machines, celestial beings,
Yeah.
technologies that just shouldn't have existed back then.
Okay, so we've got the art, the stories. What about, like, hard science?
Mhm.
Is there scientific evidence for ancient aliens?
That's where it gets tricky. There's no, smoking gun, no definitive proof,
Right.
but there are things that science can't fully explain yet, and those things, well, they fuel the imagination.
And what kind of things? Give me an example.
Well, how about those ancient structures? The pyramids in Egypt,
Yeah.
Stonehenge, how'd they build those with such precision? Those massive stones perfectly aligned with the stars, we're still figuring that out.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Exactly. And then you have those weird metal objects, like the Baghdad Battery. The Baghdad Battery. It's this clay pot with copper and iron inside. Dates back thousands of years. Some people think it could have been an ancient battery.
Really? A battery? Like way before batteries were supposed to exist.
Yeah. It's like finding a computer chip in a Roman ruin.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right. Now, does this prove aliens? No. But it raises questions. Were ancient people more advanced than we think? Did they have help from someone out there?
So after all this, spaceships in the Bible, have we proven anything?
Maybe not proven, but we've explored the possibility. The Hebrew words, the ancient way of seeing things, the evidence. It's a puzzle, and we've put some pieces together.
But we're still missing some pieces, right?
We are, and maybe that's okay. Maybe the point isn't to find all the answers.
So then what's the point of all this?
It's about the questions. It's about making us think differently, questioning what we think we know.
Right, about history,
Yeah.
about the past.
Yeah, and realizing that what we know is always changing.
There's always more to learn.
Always. And for me, that's what's exciting, the mystery, the not knowing.
It's like we've opened this door, and behind it, there's a whole universe of possibilities.
Exactly, and we're just starting to explore it.
So, to everyone listening, keep asking questions, keep exploring. What if there's more to the story? What if the past is hiding secrets?
And what if, just maybe, we're not alone in the universe?
Those are good questions. Questions worth thinking about. And until next time, keep on diving deep.